fellow Toastmasters, Jeff, distinguished guest, welcome. May I ask you to please close your eyes for a while? And I will tell you when you can open them. Imagine right now that you are in a lake, and it's very fresh, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning, by the way. And you see the colors of the lake, of the water, transforming from crystal blue into yellows and oranges and more yellows. Now open your eyes. May I ask you, when was the last time that you saw a sunset? Okay, let me show you something. This happens every day somewhere in the world. Indeed, this happened around the corner from where I live. It's incredible. And let me tell you something that I really admire, and it comes from this book, from The Little Prince. Most of my speech is telling you about this book, but most importantly, I encourage you to buy the book and read it yourself. The Little Prince was a very lonely person, and he lived in a very small planet. His planet was probably the size of a house. And in that planet, he had 3 volcanoes. One was already extinct, and the other 2 were still alive. So he had to clean them. He also had a flower, and his flower was so proud of herself that the little prince was very, very, he didn't know what to do. It really broke his peace of mind. For example, he will tell him, "Oh, how beautiful you are." "Oh, really? Oh, thank you." "Oh, pardon." She wouldn't even say thank you. And she would be so proud of herself that the little prince didn't know what to do anymore. So he left his planet. And when he left his planet, he stopped at 6 different planets before arriving to the Earth. And when he was arriving in every one of these planets, he was finding all of these adults. And he would try to talk to them. But that did not happen. So for example, in the first planet, there was a king. So he was sitting on his throne. And the little prince wanted to talk to him. "Hi, how are you? I order you to stand in front of me and salute me." "Oh, cool. Hi, how are you? I order you," etc., etc., etc. So when the little prince wanted to talk to that king, he couldn't. Plus, that planet was too small for him, that he couldn't even have room because of all of the clothes of the king. So he left. He arrived into the next planet. And in the next planet, there was a very conceited man. So the little prince said, "Hi, how are you? You're supposed to applaud me." "Okay, hi." And the same thing, he couldn't find a way to talk with that person. He started to realize that these adults were kind of very strange. And his world was so stellar that he was trying to find that in his own, wherever he was going. So he arrived to the 3rd planet, and in the 3rd planet there was a drunkard. "Hi, how are you?" "I don't know." "What are you doing?" So again, the little prince left to say, "Ooh, these people are kind of strange." Anyway, the fourth planet where he arrived, there was a businessman. And there he was, 2,365, 2,668. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. But, no, I asked you, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, I'm counting. Counting what? My possessions? Oh, and why do you count them? Well, oh, look, I found another jewel. Let me give it a number. 1, 2, 3. Why are you numbering? Well, because. So again, the little prince says, "Shit, I don't want to be a business person." The fifth planet was kind of easier to visit because there was a hard-working man, but there was only one light, and he was turning it on and turning it off, turning it off and turning it off. Good morning, good night, good morning, good night, good morning, good night. Oh, cool. Hi, how are you? Well, I am working. I'm working very hard. Oh, really? Yeah. I cannot talk to you. Good morning. Good night. That's the only place where the little prince finally thought, oh gosh, I could have stayed here because there are thousands and thousands of sunsets, because that's what the little prince loved to watch. And he could do that in his home because he could just pull the little chair and start watching another. And so finally, he got into a geologist and the same thing. I'm just finding that place and I'm giving it a number. But why? Well, because, so, again, he was just numbering, processing things, but as soon as you will take the map away from the little from the geologist, the guy didn't know what he was possessing. So, as you can see, the little prince finally arrived to the earth, where he found that there were 100 kings, millions of conceited people, trillions of working men, thousands of business people, and many drunkards, and some geologists. But most importantly, he found that his flower was not unique as he thought. There were thousands of flowers just like hers. So, what happened is that the little prince finally was kind of disappointed, but he found a fox, and the fox finally told him, the essence, you cannot see it with your eyes, you need to see it with your heart. And he also taught him how to cultivate friendship and everything. I encourage you guys to watch for what we have already. Well, this is very sophisticated. The moon and the sky are meeting somewhere. There is life in the desert. There are beautiful sunsets, not as sophisticated all the time, but we can always find them. And these lands are sacred. And there's always a good night from a majestic tree saying goodbye to the sun. And these seeds carry the essence of life. I encourage you to get up every morning or just one morning sometime and look for the nicest place near your home and enjoy a sunset or a sunrise. And I encourage you to always look for the beauty of nature, because we are losing it. I really encourage you to take proactive actions whenever you have to decide on how to protect the earth, because you don't see it unless you see it with your heart. Mr. Toastmaster?